Hi, my name is JP Suarez, and this is my assignment in Comm 3. I'm going to give you an entertaining speech on a topic that I find very interesting, which is how Duterte won the 2016 presidential elections because of social media. Now, before I get any further, I just want to say that the Philippines has over 108 million people. And of that 108 million people, 48 million are Facebook users. So we have a very big demographic of social media users. 48 million are Facebook. We're not even talking about Twitter or Instagram or YouTube or anything else. But close to 50% of our population uses social media. That is a big thing because the internet or on social media, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. It doesn't matter what the class system you're in, because on the internet, everybody's the same, right? So that's a big part of why Duterte won the election. But before I go there, I will take you back in time and talk about the very, very first mass media war. Now, back in the 1400s, there was a gentleman named Johannes Gutenberg, who was a goldsmith by trade and created the first printing press. And through this printing press, you now could print books where you could never print them before. Before, the only people that had books were the rich. So now he had this invention, he wanted to sell it, he wanted to make money. Where would he go? He would go to the church. Because at the church, you had monks writing Bibles all the time, and you would think, hey, we can print these Bibles out. Instead of taking years and years and years, I could print these out in hours, and so that's what they did. But then, the church started making money selling these Bibles. And the church kind of got greedy, and they said, what else can we sell? So they started selling indulgences. And if you don't know what an indulgence is, it's basically a get-out-of-hell card. The Pope says that because you got this indulgence, you cannot go to jail. So you have your get-out-of-jail card through this indulgence. And what did people do? People bought these indulgences. They bought them by the droves. And the Roman Catholic Church made millions and millions of dollars. That's one of the reasons why they became so rich. But there was a German theologist, professor, and a monk, and his name was Martin Luther, and he was very, very against this. And so what he did was that he actually wrote the Pope Leo a letter saying how bad it was that the church was making so much money because of indulgences. And so what his friends did was, his friends decided to get the letter, and they decided to print it. And they printed this letter, and they printed it and posted it all over Europe. They posted this letter all over Europe. And then what happened was everybody started reading this letter. And everybody started seeing what the Catholic Church was doing. And then what did the Catholic Church do? They decided to then fight back with letters of their own. And then you start having comics, and you started having posters everywhere all over Europe. And what happened was that something changed. The revolution happened, and it was easy for one man's voice to be heard all over Europe. And it's because of that started the very, very first Reformation of the Protestant Church. So now, that was the first revolution in terms of mass media. Now here we are in 2016. What revolution am I talking about now? Well, I'm talking about the social media revolution. So, what's the big deal about the social media revolution? Well, before the printing press, one person's voice could be heard all over. But now through social media, everybody's voice can be heard. Everybody has a voice, not just one person. You can hear about everything. And so it was because of the social media that people started talking about all of the different things that are happening in the Philippines, all of the different corruption, the crime, the drugs, and people were getting tired. Before, people whose votes could be bought now had mobile phones and easy access to the internet. Mobile phones are very inexpensive now. Everybody has one. Everybody has access to the internet. You have carpenters, you have plumbers, you have yayas, you have maids. They're all online. They're all online. It doesn't matter how much money they make. And all of these people are voters. And then they started seeing exactly how bad it was, how bad corruption was. And not only were they seeing it, but they could now have a voice on how they feel about corruption in the Philippines. And so all of these people who've never had a voice before now have millions and millions of voices. And now, because of social media the way it is, these people don't have to find news. News goes and finds them. And here's an example of that. There was a debate in Cebu, and all of the candidates were there, except Miriam, who was sick. Binay was stammering all over the place, and the person who won that debate was Duterte. And on Inquirer.net's Facebook page, Duterte was 83% the winner of all of the voters of that Facebook page. And that spread all over. And it's because of Duterte's hard stand against crime and drugs. It's because of Duterte's larger-than-life persona about corruption, against corruption. His larger-than-life persona against gangs, violence, corruption of the police. People got tired of the way things were, and they could see it through social media. And it's because of that social media movement that I believe is the reason why Duterte became the president of the Philippines in 2016.